Good morning. This is Mike Kelly. I'm a columnist for The Record and NorthJersey.com. I'm here on the steps of the federal courthouse in Newark for the seventh day of jury deliberations in the trial of Robert Menendez. Behind me, you can see some of the media gathering to try to talk to Senator Menendez when he comes into the building. He should be here in about 15 minutes or so. I wanted to go over some of the options that the judge has to consider if in fact there is a deadlocked jury. As you may recall, this is one of the questions that arose on Monday when the jurors came in and said, "We are deadlocked, Judge," and the judge told them to go back and continue their deliberations. So far, over the last few days, we haven't heard anything from the jury. There have been no questions, no requests for additional explanations of the judge's instructions to the jury, none of that. The jury has been completely quiet. So it's resulted in quite a bit of speculation as to what's going on. Let's set aside the speculation for a moment, though, and consider if the jury is still deadlocked, what could happen here. First of all, it doesn't necessarily mean that the judge will automatically call for a mistrial. And a mistrial would mean that there is no decision and that the federal prosecutors can go ahead in the future if they choose to try to bring charges again against Senator Menendez and Dr. Solomon Melgen, or they could just simply drop everything and everybody can go on with their lives. But before any of that happens, let's assume for a moment that the jury says to the judge today, or even possibly tomorrow, that they are still deadlocked. The judge could order them and would back into deliberations. Then if they still come back and they say, "We're still deadlocked, Judge," or "We're hopelessly deadlocked," something like that, the judge could issue what is commonly known as an Allen charge in federal courts, where it's basically a set of instructions to the jury, with the judge ordering them to go back in and try to reach a verdict. So these are a couple of steps that could happen before any sort of mistrial is declared in this case. Again, we're speculating that a mistrial is even in the works, but we have very little else to go on because the jury declared earlier this week that they were deadlocked, and we have had no indication that that deadlock has broken up. So anyway, stay tuned for continued coverage by The Record and NorthJersey.com. This is Mike Kelly in Newark.